of you. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay. So I was going through the comments you guys left in the last live. There's a couple things. Hey, Gloria. Thanks for coming. There's a couple things that I want to talk about that you guys left in the comments. So I'll just give me just a second. Let me get. Hey, Mrs. Kelly. Jessie Lynn. Hey, everybody. Thank you for coming. Okay, so I just wanted to go over a couple of things. You know what's so weird is earlier I had charged my laptop. It was full. It was at 100 when I started. And it went so freaking fast. All of a sudden my battery was dead. So that's what happened. Sorry about that. I usually do this upstairs in my room at my desk, but I did it down here this morning, so everything's a little bit different for me. Okay, so a couple of things that I wanted to mention. So let me pull up this picture. Somebody had left a comment about, where's Camp? Okay. I was waiting to see if this was going to shut off again. So, yeah, my guess, because somebody was like, who is behind that tree? My guess, it's hard to tell, but black hair, beard, it kind of looks like maybe it's her stepdad, but I'm not sure. But anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. So, do you see this right here? It's also a cross, and she's standing behind it. So, that is weird. I know a lot of people don't think there's anything. And listen, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with nature. Okay? Not at all. But when you put everything together that Lindsey has done, that we have seen, and with these kids, it's bonkers. It is crazy to me. But there is something with this. She is standing behind this cross like that. That's something. I don't care what anybody says. I got to figure out what that means, because that means something. Now, you know the picture that we were talking about where I had the tarot cards, not tarot cards, the Goddess of Knowledge cards pulled up? I think, now I could be wrong, but that looks like this little girl right here to me. One of the other little girls in the picture, it looks like this one. Now, a couple of other things. It looks like this kid is in like a makeshift jail. He does have the devil shirt on. And you've got these people who I'm guessing are the captors. That's why they're standing outside holding these sticks. And this girl, it looks like, is holding this in her hand, but it's hard to tell. But it looks like she's holding this in her hand, and Kiely is standing behind it. Okay. So I just wanted to point those few of those things out, but there is something with this. The cross is right in front of her face. I don't know. I think it's something. Okay, I could be wrong, but now, a couple of other things. Let me pull back up for those people that were asking about it. That's the wrong one. Okay. Bought it. No, it does not tell you who bought these things. But they're just like cheap random items, and she obviously just put these labels on there. But how about putting one that says we got this, right? I'm surprised that's not on there because they got this, right? But it's not the fact, you guys. Actually, let me pull up. See, right there, Lindsey Neiman, Truckee, California. So those of you that are like, oh, this is not her, it clearly is. Her Instagram page was changed to this right here, this name. Kinda. Like we kinda, yeah, okay, that's what I thought. But now, this is the big one right here, to me, anyway. I don't care what anybody said, and a lot of people seemed to agree with me in the comments that it's now we have learned in this case that wording is super, super important, isn't it? You really got to pay attention to the wording that people use. Curiosity may have killed the cat, but it makes for an interesting life. What is she trying to say here? Did Kiely get a little too close to something and want to learn more about it? Was she curious to something? Was she, you know what I mean? What really happened here? Did Kiely get a little too much information on something and curiosity may have killed the cat? But it makes for an interesting... See, people, this is what I'm saying. Shit like this. People who are like defending Lindsey and people who are like, oh, well, somebody left a comment. They were like, well, berating Lindsey is not going to get us any answers in this case. No. But pointing shit out helps. I don't care what anybody says. That shit is weird. And isn't it weird that she has the camp and it's the same name? I just think there's too many strange freaking things that go on in this case. So for her to even say that in here, that means something. That's like a message, in my opinion. Now, there's a lot of people that still think that Lindsey is being forced into taking the stance that she is making. You guys know how I feel. I have said that being forced into doing something, into acting a certain way is one thing, but doing it with a big freaking smile on your face and enjoying yourself while you're doing it, that to me says, listen, you're not being forced. This is just who you are. You really don't give a shit, and you're fine with just moving on and forgetting all about what happened to your daughter, right? Sorry. Make sure you guys are still with me over here. So I don't know. There's just... You know what? She's more than welcome to come and listen to anything I have to say. I mean, if you... Listen, if you're really being objective in this case, then you have to question everything that you see. And I know not everybody agrees on that. But in order to find, if you're digging for the truth, in order to find the truth, like, you have to be willing to look into anything and everything that is said by everybody involved. That's just how I feel. But I think that with anything, I really do. Well, Phantasmic Ether. Actually, if you, it means like going. It said it. Let me see. I'll show you. To travel in a purposeful manner towards a vague destination. That's what Cottywomple means. That's the name of the camp, and that's the name that she's got on her Etsy site. So, to travel in a purposeful manner towards a vague destination. Now, I also had somebody leave in the comments of the last one that just because, you know, they're just because they worship nature doesn't make them bad people. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying just because just because they're into nature doesn't mean they're bad people. It's when you put everything together that makes it super weird. It's not, that's what I'm saying. When you're looking at this case, you can't just take one picture or one thing and be like, and draw your conclusion from that. You just can't. But when you look at everything together, then you start to see a bigger picture, right? It's like Sammy with her Lord of the Flies and all that bullshit. It's like everything that we know, everything that we have seen come from these people. How can you not question it? You know, and I don't care. I think there's a lot of secrets, and I think there's a lot of deception, and I think there's a lot of that going on in this case. And I think for you to be like, well, we're just not going to question it. We're just not going to hang on the words that they say. I think that's crazy, because you're not actually looking for answers then. You're not actually digging for the truth then. You know, sometimes it takes a lot of pushback for somebody to crack. Sometimes it takes a lot of shit being pointed out for someone to be put in a corner where you do start to get answers. That's all I'm saying. Now, I hope J-Rod and all them are right about arrests coming. But like I said, I have not heard anything about that. And there sure as shit better be more than one. Because a lot more than one people are involved in this. And even if you think that Lindsey had nothing to do with what happened to her daughter or no knowledge of it whatsoever, the bottom line is she let her 16-year-old daughter go to a party where there was going to be drugs and alcohol. This is their story, right? So let's go with the story that they wanted to put out to people. She let her daughter do that. She let her daughter take the car. She let her daughter be responsible enough to get home. I mean, that is neglect. That is endangering the welfare of a child. That is crazy, and you should be arrested for that. In any other case, any other parents would be. I mean, for us to act like Lindsey's special and should not get in trouble for that is crazy to me. That is just crazy. And listen, I know that there's a lot of people that don't agree with me, and that's fine. We're all different. But there, like I said, there's just something in me that says, there's just something in me telling me that these certain people are involved, and that's all I can go off of. Ah, butterfly, you're funny. To say. Oh, and there's people that don't want, I mean, especially in Truckee, and I really believe this, that there's a lot of shit going down in that town. There's a lot of hands in that shit that's going down in that town, and they don't want people to know about it. They don't want people to look into it. They don't want any of that brought out to light. Now, listen, I think if anything, we can all agree that whoever is involved in this, in what happened to Kiely, should be held responsible. Now, the problem is getting those facts, getting that shit down. That's the problem here. You know, I just... I was there yesterday. Mrs. G says, guys, I was there yesterday, and absolutely nothing is there in the line of sight to that peninsula. Yeah, I've heard there was a lot of stuff. I mean, I watched that video about it being the cartel, and that could be true. That could be true. But you know what? I believe that there's a lot of people in the world who do have morals and do have this code that they themselves have to live by. Now, blood money is still blood money, right? Yeah, no, that's true. Bad parenting is not illegal. But what I was going to say, okay, listen, baby girl. If you think that Kiely is the one that is responsible for her own death, then you wouldn't be watching other people's videos. You wouldn't be watching people who are trying to figure out the truth if you really thought she ended her own life. And if she did end her own life, then people would be talking about it. People wouldn't be keeping it quiet. People would come out and speak about it. Don't you find it freaking odd that not one person from that town could come out and speak up for that girl? Not one. You're telling me that not one damn person in that town gave a shit about her? Because nobody will say a word. Literally, I had somebody who was just in Truckee a couple of days ago, and they were talking about being in Truckee, and they were trying to talk to other people, and they were like, as soon as I mentioned Kiely's name, people clammed up. They were literally like, okay, next subject, please. I'm not talking about this. Now, that is not an accident. That is not people covering up an accident, okay? That is people that don't want to get involved, that don't want to put their shit out there. That is what that is. Hey, everybody. Thank you all for being here. But if it was truly an accident, do you understand what I'm saying? If it was an accident, people would not be covering it up like they are. People would be speaking out about it. People would be able to talk about it. But nope, nobody can say a damn word. Megan came out and painted her as a wild party girl who, and as soon as Megan come out, I don't care how anybody feels. As soon as she came out and she started speaking, oh, this was an accident and these teens are innocent, and defending those teens, I got to tell you right out of the gate, I was like, yep, this lady. Because she's just another person that wants to come out and defend these teens, that wants to take the heat off of these teens. And until you have evidence show me evidence that these teens were totally innocent, and I'll be like, okay, they were innocent, I was wrong. But until I see that, I'm going to go with my gut. And that's all that I can do. You show me another mother whose daughter went missing at a party, who Sammy says she was the last one to see her. You show me another mother that's going to happen to, and then she's going to find her daughter pulled out of a lake, and she's going to be all buddy-buddy with Sammy. You show me a mother whose daughter went missing at a party, and she's hanging all over, hugging all over, and kissing all over the girl who was last with her daughter. Bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. That shit does not happen. Hey, Muse News, thank you for coming in. That shit just does not happen. At least no mother that I've ever seen. So, yeah, there's something wrong there. There is something very wrong there. Because at the time that Lindsey was all hugging up on Sammy and being all friendly with Sammy, her daughter was still missing. From Sammy's own mouth, she was the last person to see her alive. She left her there. From Sammy's own story, Kiely was totally wasted, could barely walk, and was way too drunk to drive home. And she left her there. You tell me what kind of mother is going to be like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. I get it. No, bullshit. Bull. That doesn't happen. I've never, ever, ever. Do y'all know any parents who would be like that? Any mothers here in the chat? Would you be like that? No. So you have to ask yourself, what the hell is going on here? And if you don't ask yourself that question after seeing that, then I'd say there's something wrong. There's something very wrong. If you're not going to see that and question it, then what are we all doing here? Yeah, so, that's just how it is. Not everybody's going to agree. And listen, I'm not here to convince you to agree with me. I don't care whether you agree with me or not. I'm here just stating what I think, shit that I notice, shit that I come up, that I see, and we talk about it. That's it. But I'm not going to stand here. I'm not going to sit here and argue with you. I am not going to try to convince you to see things my way. We're all different. That's just the way that it is. And I will say one more thing on the mother. She came out and publicly begged for everybody's help in finding her daughter. She begged for everybody's help on the freaking news. And then when everybody got involved and then her daughter was found, see how quick that shit changed? Do you see how fast that changed? She went from being all, oh, my daughter would never drink and drive. I mean, she's been to these parties before and she knows she calls for a ride. She would never drink and drive. She's too responsible for that. All of a sudden, bam, the fucking script got flipped and she was all for it being an accident. You tell me that that's not fishy. You tell me that you would not question that. And listen, maybe Sammy in a crazy, maybe she's not. But I don't believe that at all. And if she's not, I will admit to being wrong. I have no problem with that. But all I can do is go off what I know, what I see, what I feel. That's it. So if you agree with me, great. If you don't, that's fine. But I don't have time for somebody to be up in here defending Lindsey. I got no time to pay attention to that. So, we'll all just do our thing. But if she is, and I think, truly, I think that Lindsey knows what happened to her daughter. And I think she knows who did it. And that's just my opinion. So, we all do what we do. We all feel how we feel. But I'm going to tell you right now that everything that we know of this case came from Samantha's mouth herself. Samantha put herself in front of all the people. She chose to be, tried to be the head of this. She chose to do the teen to teen talks. She chose to put herself out there in the public. And when she did that, we all caught on to her lies. We all watched her inconsistencies. We all saw it happen. So, listen, we question what we question. I think that's how you get to the truth. Even if I'm wrong, the only way to find out is to get to the truth. That's it. That's all any of us are trying to do. Like I said before. But there's something very wrong with this. And you have to say, if by chance Lindsey is into this stuff, like we've been talking about on this channel for how long, then she's got girls going to camp. She's got kids that she is in control over. She's got the Camp Cottawap. They have the freaking retreat. I mean, how many other kids are we going to have to see in this situation? How many other Kielys were there? How many are going to be in the future if the darkness and the shit and the secrets don't get exposed? How many? And I don't care. The fact that Lindsey went to bed after, first of all, she receives a text that says her daughter is going to be late. You know your daughter, according to the story, you know your daughter is at a party. She texts you and says she's going to be late. You don't pick up the phone and call just to make sure she's okay. And on top of that, what do you do next? You go to bed. You say, wake me up when you get home. You wake up the next morning, you realize your daughter never came home, you go to Starbucks. And you report your daughter missing later in the day. Now you tell me what kind of person is not going to think that's odd. You tell me what kind of person is not going to question that. I'm going to tell you right now, if this had happened, if I was Lindsey and this was my position and that was my daughter, oh, you better believe that shit would not have gone down the way that it did. I would have tore that town up looking for my kid. That's insane. And if you don't question that, then listen. I think there's something very wrong. Yeah, and on top of that, then you got Lindsey going, well, I'm not out searching because I'm not qualified to search for missing people. Oh, but them teens are qualified to run this freaking show? All these people who volunteered to come out and search for your daughter, they're qualified? But your ass ain't qualified to go look for your own daughter? There's something wrong with that. I'm sorry. There's something wrong with you sitting up at base camp when everybody's laughing, singing, freaking playing guitars, dancing. All that shit's happening. And you're okay doing that, but you're not okay going out to look for your own child because you're not qualified to look for missing people. I have never heard such bullshit in my life. Ever. She should have been the most qualified to go look for her daughter because she should have a connection to her daughter. It's called intuition. She should have that. I mean, this is insane. For people to not question this, I mean, what is wrong with you? Seriously. What's wrong with everybody? I mean, you have more skin in this game finding your daughter than anybody else there. But you're not qualified. You're going to wait till however late, 5 to freaking report your daughter missing. I mean, that's just not normal behavior. Now, with that being said, I had this friend growing up. Her name, well, it don't matter what her name was, but I had this friend growing up. We were like best friends. I was at her house all the time, but her mother, she could pretty much do whatever she wanted. Her mom wasn't really there. She was not the greatest person. Hold on, I got to move over here. My computer's dying again. Okay. So she could pretty much do whatever she wanted. That was the type of mom that she had. So I know that there are parents out there like that, but I'm going to tell you something. If her daughter had came up missing, you bet your ass she would have been there. Parents who want to know the truth will do whatever they have to get the truth of what happened to their child. Now, you tell me what kind of mother is okay just letting it go, just moving on. You tell me. Because I couldn't. Now, we don't know what kind of life Kiely had at home. Being stuck in that lodge, being stuck away from everybody with her stepdad and her mother. Now, I don't know what what a lot of people. Okay. If you can understand Lindsey's behavior and not searching for her daughter and acting the way she did, and you can understand it, drop a 1 in the chat. If you think the way Lindsey has acted has been totally suspect and totally wrong, I want you to drop a 2 in the chat, please. Exactly. I saw 1 in there. Yes, everybody, please hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. It's a free way to help out. Okay, now, with all of that being said, hold on, I gotta fix my chair. Ah, Gregory, you're funny. Okay, now, none of this, if it's not going to be investigated properly. We have, like I've said before, this case has had more red flags than freaking China, okay? That's a lot of red flags. That's a ton of red flags. Oh. Okay, I can't focus on people's bullshit, okay? I just can't, because you are never going to be able to convince me that this was an accident. You are never going to be able to convince me that they gave a crap about Kiely or what happened to her, and you'll never be able to convince me that there's not a huge cover-up happening here. Never, ever, ever. Now, as her mother, Lindsey should have never been that way with Sammy. That's my point. As a mother of a missing child, she should have never been acting that way towards somebody that she knew was the last person to speak to her daughter and the person that just ditched her daughter. Now, listen to me. These kids wanted to come out and say, oh my God, this party was so scary. It was overwhelming. There was a bunch of older dudes there, and it was scary. But you left my daughter there by herself, out of her mind. That was your story. So that's what we have to go off of. Hell no. You're right. We're never going to change what happened. What's happened is done. It is done. Kiely has been, she's gone. She's gone. There's nothing we can do about that. But there's going to be more. There will be more people. There will be more murders and cover-ups in Truckee unless it gets exposed. If you don't like it, I suggest you get out of here and go find somebody else to watch. But don't sit in here and run your mouth. Go watch somebody else's channel if you don't agree with me. That's fine. That does not bother me. Yes, bye. Have a nice day. Now, the bottom line is there's so much money and power in this area, that I get it. I'm probably going up against a brick wall here. I get that. And I might not be the most popular person for going up against that brick wall. But you know what? At least I'm doing what's true. At least I'm doing what is true to myself, which is trying to find the truth in this case. That's what I started this for. That's it. And sometimes when you got people being so secretive and, you have all this bullshit in this case, like you do here, sometimes you have to dig around for the truth. Sometimes you uncover things that you're like, wow, didn't even see that one coming. That's just how it works, which we have done a lot in this case. Always question everything. Always question everyone. Until you actually get the truth, right? But that's it. We don't have that. So we're going off of logical conclusions that we can go with from what we've seen and what we do know. Now, thank you, Lassie. Now, according to the autopsy, Kiely was not intoxicated. So either the autopsy is bullshit or everything that the teens said was bullshit. They're not going to come out and say our autopsy was bullshit. So what does that leave us with? Then the kids were all lying. Then there actually was no party, was there? Just like I've been saying. Hell, we're 3 months in and I've still not seen evidence of a party that night. I have still not seen evidence of Kiely being at a party that night. 3 months later. But that's the story. Get out of here, please. I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah, and you know what? When you stand up, first of all, I don't know how many of you watched that celebration of life. That's what they call it. I call it celebration for the community. When you watch that and you hear the shit that was said, it's disgusting. It was not for Kiely. It was not about Kiely. That freaking thing, that party, that celebration was not for Kiely. That was for Lindsey, and that was for the community. That lady, Cassie Hebel, who stood up there and basically ran the whole thing, did you hear her say one kind word about Kiely? Nope, not one. You don't believe me? Go back and listen. Her whole speech at the beginning of that, for like a half an hour, was how she wanted to thank everybody, thank the community, thank the police for all their hard work, thank the people who brought them coffee up at base camp, thank the people who fucking let them borrow tables from base camp. But no thanks to AWP who found her, and no kind words for Kiely. Don't you think that's odd at a freaking celebration of life for somebody? That is not normal. And to have a cleansing table, a cleansing station to get rid of evil fucking entities that are hanging around, that shit's not normal either. And the lady's like, oh, it's come down and cleanse yourself. It's very important. Like, why? Why is it important? Everybody's got to cleanse themselves. What did y'all do? Right? What evil are y'all trying to get away? I mean, it's so ludicrous to me. And then you got, well, first of all, while I'm talking about this lady who was talking during this celebration of life, I think people have forgotten. So let's just go back and take a little recap of what she said, okay? She wanted to stand up there and be like, she told this story about they were all up at base camp and people were playing guitars and music, especially for Mama, she says, which she was talking about Lindsey, and that's just weird. And then she's like, and I thought, okay, this is cool. She's like, this is awesome. And then they found Kiely. She goes, and then we got news that Kiely's body was found. And then and these are her exact words. She goes, and then it changed to How are we going to do this and celebrate the community? First of all, chick, you're up here at a 16-year-old celebration of life who is gone, whose body they just pulled out of a lake. Secondly, you're up here, you just find out about them finding her body, and your first thought is, how are we going to celebrate the freaking community? Are you kidding me? And you don't think that's weird? You don't think that is odd behavior? And Lindsey wants to talk about how it's the community's child. She says, yes, Kiely was my daughter, but her body, she was actually the community's child. Please get away from me with that shit. Please. Please. And then she wants to stand up there. And let's not forget that the lady walking around in the freaking cloak, okay, that is not normal. And then she wants to make her infamous speech about how everybody should mind their own business, get a hobby, because they got this. They got this. I can't stand her. She makes me sick. What kind of mother? That's all I'm saying. What kind of mother? People can see, this is a problem with cases. Nobody likes to say the hard things. Nobody likes to say the shit that is going to be unpopular and that nobody wants to hear. Nobody ever wants to hear anybody going after the mother. But when the mother has done and said so much shady shit, sometimes you gotta question that. Sometimes you got to go after that. Sometimes you have to say the things that aren't going to be popular. But that's just the way that it is. If you're looking for the truth, then you're looking for the truth. We ain't here to make friends. We're not here to worry about hurting anybody's feelings. We are here to we are trying to get the truth. Now, there has been a lot of talk about this party. I have I just saw it. I just saw a thing where the campground manager at that campground was so pissed when the FBI and everybody showed up because he was like, there was no party here. He's like, you're scaring my customers away. Like, there was no freaking party. But that's the story that mainstream went with, because that's the story that came out of Samantha Smith's mouth. But yet today, we have not seen any evidence of a party. We know Jagger is staying at the lodge, which is super fucked up, you guys. That is so... Like, you can clearly tell that Jagger has this obsession with Kiely because they weren't together. And then as soon as she went missing, he started posting all this shit about, I love you, stay alive for me, you're my angel, blah, 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 blah. Kid, there's something wrong with you. And then you're living at the lodge. I mean, it's too much. Yeah, seriously, can you go find somewhere else to go? Because if you think the truth is she drove herself in that lake from the fucking hatchback of her car, you're insane. And I just don't have any, you know what? I can't talk to this. I can't address this girl anymore. I can't read her comments anymore. She's driving me crazy. Yep. Drank too much of the Kool-Aid, I think. But I know you guys see what I'm saying. I'm just, listen, I have no vendetta against Lindsey as personally. don't care nothing about her. But she is the mother in this case. And she's done so much shit that, yeah, I'm going to call her out. If you have a problem with that, I'm sorry. And I know some people want to say that these teens are innocent, and if that's your take on it, that's fine. But I'm going to keep calling out what I see fit, and when shit don't make sense, I'm going to call that shit out too. All right, I got to do something. Hold on a second. You know what? I ain't even going to do that. I ain't even going to, I'm just going to ignore. Okay. Yes, Lassie, thank you. Now, I am trying to get into contact with somebody that knew Kiely in real life, somebody that known Sammy in real life, somebody that knows what the hell is actually going on here, and somebody that will talk. Listen, if you're out there and you're listening right now, please contact me. You can do it anonymously. I will not put your name out there. I just need some information. Because everybody that has come out from Truckee has painted us a picture. They've painted us the picture that right out the gate, these teens are innocent and that Kiely was wild and out of control and blah, blah, blah. Right? That's the story they wanted to paint, which is exactly why I got so mad at that other lady. I'm not even going to mention her name anymore. Y'all know who I'm talking about. That's why I got so mad at her. Because I'm like, you know what? You're just another freaking shill from Truckee that wants to come out and point us and point this, picture this narrative for us that this was an accident and that she drove herself in the lake and these teens are all innocent. Bullshit. You didn't come out the gate talking about, oh, Kiely was a good person, this, and this may have happened, and this. No, you came out the gate like these kids are innocent. This girl did it herself. She was wasted. But guess what? Autopsy says she wasn't. Autopsy says she wasn't wasted or drugged up, period. Now, I'm not saying we can believe the autopsy because we all know that we can't. That's the problem. None of the information that you get from these people, you can believe. Yeah, gaslighting. Yep. So that's all I'm saying. That's right. She drove herself in the lake from the back of her vehicle. Let me ask you this. How did they know that she did not have her keychain? How did they know that she did not have her necklaces while she was still missing? If you can tell me that, hey. Nope, autopsy didn't really say shit. And the shit that it did say didn't make any sense. Her hair was wrong. Her hair length was wrong. Her weight was wrong. Her height was wrong. The tattoo was in the wrong spot. I mean, it's totally absurd. The shit that we are getting here, and people want to wonder why we question everything. This is why. I don't know, you guys. It's all we can do. You know, it's all we can do is just try to figure this out. So that's all I'm trying to do. Let me see what. Oh. Caroline, yes, of course there isn't any. Okay, see, all right, I need one of my mods to get rid of her because when she's going to start talking shit about Kiely, saying that she was, and that's the problem. That's the problem here. I don't put up with victim shaming. You shouldn't be out here talking about Kiely's sexual antics or anything like that. You don't know why she had that IUD. You don't know? All right, she's gone. I'm sorry. I wasn't going to until she started talking about Kiely. So Nick is the tow truck driver. Now, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. I cannot find any information on that guy. I have looked. The only thing I can find is an Instagram, a Facebook. I can't find any information on that guy. I don't know why. I don't know if it's not as, I don't know. But you know what I did? Somebody left a comment, and it made a lot of sense to me. Somebody left a comment that said Nick was he was planted into this investigation by Truckee to try to, discredit AWP. Which would make sense because you got Nick saying, oh, I saw her over at Boca, right? Now, I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying that this would make sense. Somebody had left this in the comment. Lassie, I already blocked her. Thank you, though. But somebody was like, he could have been planted in this case as a plant by Truckee to discredit AWP because AWP believed him, right? They were like, yep, he was seen over at Boca. He saw her over at Boca, so we're going to go search there first. And then they thought that was it. They weren't going to search they weren't going to search Prosser again, which we knew they were pulling out of Prosser. And look this up, all you fact checkers out there. They pulled out of Prosser area the same fucking day that the family anonymously received a $25,000 donation. She ain't in here no more, so there ain't no bother talking to her. Yeah, people are crazy. So, I mean, that could have been because then everybody was like, as soon as it came out that her car was pulled out of Prosser, and the Nick story didn't make sense to people, they were automatically going after AWP. They were like, oh, well, AWP lied because this guy's not who he says he is, yada, yada, yada. So that could be. That could be. I don't know this guy, and like I said, I cannot find any information about him. Also, yes, do you know? Thank you for bringing that up. She was supposedly in Mexico. She supposedly just came back from Mexico. But yet, we have not seen any pictures of her in Mexico. That is weird. There's no pictures of Kiely anywhere. She's being deleted off people's, there's nothing. They're totally erasing this girl, which is insane to me. But it's not if you look at it from their point of view, from the Truckee way, right? Don't blame anybody. It was an accident. There's nothing to look at here, folks. Let's just keep on going. But the problem... Yeah, I know. It's crazy. There's no pictures of her. We have the pictures that they wanted to came out. But you should be able to find things on her. She was a musician. She, there was all this stuff that she did. She graduated with honors. Why is there no graduation? Why? Truckee, I'm sorry. Forest Charter had a 2020 graduation during COVID. It was obviously not in person. Oh, I just said that. Now they're going to freaking take down my... Okay. But, and then they had 2021, which was a normal graduation. Just everybody had masks on. But there's no graduation for 2022, which is the year Kiely graduated, right? Why is there no graduation? Why is there no videos or pictures of that specific one? And let's go back and talk about Sammy's graduation. She was the only one mentioned in there, but she supposedly just graduated with Mags. Oh. See, that's crazy to me for anybody to be victim shaming or talking shit about Kiely when she can't defend herself. See, Lindsey, you want to come out and defend yourself? You can. Sammy, you want to come out and defend yourself? You can. But you know who can't? The girl who was found in the back of her car at the bottom of the lake. Yeah, Sammy's whole story, that whole interview, guys, we've watched it how many times on my channel, and how many, you can only imagine how many times I've watched that shit by myself. That girl is a liar. I truly believe she is a sociopath. I truly 100% believe that. She's a narcissistic sociopath who is used to getting her own way and getting away with anything she wants. You can tell that. And I don't care what anybody says. When she was talking about those fights, those friendly fights, and she said, and you go back and watch it yourself, put it in slow motion if you do not believe me. If you go back and you watch that part where she's talking about the fight, and she goes, granted, I will tell you that people sometimes get into fights about who won. Pause it right there and then just slow motion through the next few frames. And then she says, but not this time. And the look on that bitch's face when she said that, I'm going to tell you, that is something. And another thing in Sammy's interview, when she said that Kiely drove in with Mags. That's weird, because they didn't say Kiely showed up with Mags. She didn't say Kiely showed up to the party. She didn't say Kiely came into the party. She said when Kiely drove in with Mags. Drove in what? I just think that's a little sketchy. And somebody else said the same thing. They left me a comment, and they're like, this is still bugging me. This drove in part. This drove in part. And remember, Samantha saying, this is a common misconception. So Kiely wasn't being driven, and she wasn't driving. No shit. She wasn't driving. We know she wasn't driving. Yeah, that first interview with American Dream Chaser, man, I wish that I got that interview. Let me tell you. Yes, you guys, please hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe. Please consider becoming a member of the CNY family and joining. And anybody who wants to donate to the channel, links are all down in the description below. I'm not sure when that picture was taken. They said it was taken that same day, but I don't know if I believe that. Yeah, Squirrel's on fire. I agree. I mean, I don't think everybody is bad. I'm not a complete idiot. I don't think everybody is bad in that town. But I'm going to think that if not one person can come up with enough gall to stand up for this girl. Listen, you know what? People make mistakes and people get shit wrong. But when you're doing a freaking autopsy and this is the final paper, you better get that shit right. The least you can do is get her height right, her weight right, her fucking tattoo right. The least you can do is get the shit right. I mean, for God's sakes. No, you can't attack somebody you're interviewing. But there's attacking somebody, and then there's leaning on somebody, which he did not do. It seemed more like he was flirting with Sammy than he was interested in getting any real answers. I mean, this is the person who claims to have last seen this girl alive. And you're going to be like, oh my God, you girls are out. Get out of here. Oh, Miss Cat, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. She said, if I could sub twice, I would. You are the best citizen investigator on YouTube. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I try.
Mom, where did Nan go?
Outside. I think. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I didn't even realize my freaking volume was like so low. I'm sorry. Probably good because I was getting heated there for a little while. But yeah, there's definitely something shady about that guy, and I don't care what anybody says. When I found out that he was at Hot August Nights that night, the same place where Lindsey was and the same place where Kiely was supposed to go, and he was in that town, I was like, oh shit. Wait a minute. What? Wait a minute. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is going on?
Ew, is that a spider?
Yeah, I couldn't find who he worked for.
Mom,
What?
look.
What?
I'm not picking it up. Is that a spider? I think I saw eyes.
Yeah. That's burdocks.
That?
It's burdocks.
There's eyes.
Oh my gosh. My daughter, she brings me this sock and she's like, Mom, oh my God. She's like, is this a spider? I look at it, I'm like, oh my God. I go, that's burdocks.
I'm gonna take that off myself.
Okay. It's burdocks, baby.
It was in the shirt.
That was so funny. I'm sorry, you guys. That was so funny. Oh, do you know? Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Okay, anyway, I don't got time for I can't get into all that. But anyway, you guys, so comes up like Lindsey selling shit like this. Yes. You know what? Squirrels on fire. We don't always agree, but I agree with that. Everybody is suspect. I don't trust any of them, honestly, except for Kiely. Let me bring up this picture one more time, though. Yeah. When your daughter, when this all happens, we don't need to go through it all. We kind of just did. When this all happens and you come out and you start making shit like this, curiosity may have killed the cat, but it makes for an interesting life. All that makes me do is want to dig into you more. Like, you are more suspect for that. More suspect. Miss, Oh, we gotta be kind. Think about the 3 gates. Yada, yada, yada. And you're over here selling shit like this. That's crazy to me. Oh, Steffi Marshall, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Have you a birth certificate for Kiely? I still can't. No, I have not, and I still cannot find one. I found a thing for the brother, but I could not find one for her. But that does not mean anything. Lindsey being the way that she is, I mean, she could very well could have had a home birth. There could be a record, because Kiely didn't move there until she was like 4. 3 or 4. So where we need to know where they were before. That's where we need to be looking for the birth certificate. But nobody knows where they lived before. I wonder if Squirrel on Fire, have you happened to find anything about a birth certificate or anything of where they lived before, Truckee? Because I know you'd be doing some deep digging, so I just wanted to ask you. Because I haven't found anything. Oh, Andrew Dominic, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. How bizarre. It is so bizarre, and it is so weird. Oh, my gosh, and I wanted to pull this up for you guys. Let me see if I can. I found a thing that said that Lindsey Neiman is a Squirrel. I'm talking about Kiely's birth certificate. Have you happened to find that anywhere? Because I know Kiely didn't move to the Lost Trail Lodge until she was like 3 or 4. So it's where they lived before that, because there's no birth certificate, no mention of her birth anywhere. Nobody can find it. And it's so strange. I can't figure out where she lived before. And nobody can find a birth certificate. Okay. I will do that because that's important. Next thing. Yeah, mentions of birth, like birth records are public knowledge. Yes, are public records. Yeah, I know. It would be Lindsey Robertson, which I've looked up. I know. I really want to get in contact with the father. I really want to talk to the father. Listen, if he happens to hear this, if you're out there, please contact me. I'm trying to get the truth for your daughter. And I know that you are not with this whole accident thing, so please get a hold of me. Yeah, it's really weird. That's what I said, though. You can have a home birth and you wouldn't have a birth certificate, but you would have to have a certificate of birth in order to get a Social Security card. You have to have that. So, I mean, there's something. We just got to find it. Yeah, me too, squirrels. Me too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to have a certificate of birth in order to get a Social Security card. So I don't know, but I mean, we'll keep digging. We'll see what we can find. You can't get a driver's license without a Social Security card or a birth certificate. You have to have one or the other to get your permit. Oh, Reverend Cynthia, thank you. I know. About Samantha Smith too, because Smith is such a common name, you know, that like, I mean, what if, I mean, this case is just so bizarre that honestly you cannot put anything off the table. That's how I feel. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that no DNA was taken. Hey, Muse News. It's weird that no DNA was taken. It's weird that no dental records. It's weird that a freaking detective identified her. It's weird that her parents did not identify the body. Everything about it is freaking weird and doesn't make any sense. But there is something, you guys, and we have to figure it out, I guess. I mean, that's all we're trying to do here. Whether we agree or disagree, we're all hopefully just in it for Kiely, just trying to get the truth for her. Lassie, you could be totally right, which is why she has no birth certificate, which is why the parent, you know, which is why Lindsey has treated her the way she has, which is why Lindsey has no emotional connection to this child. But again, I don't, you know, there's so many what ifs in this case. Oh, Muse News, thank you so much for the $1.99 super sticker. Yes, babe. All right. I'm sorry, you guys. I go, I'm only going to get back on for a few minutes. So I'm going to get off. My kids need me, but, I will be back on later tonight, definitely for sure. So, thank you guys for all your love and support. Please hit that thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. It's a free way to help out the channel. And it helps with the algorithms. And please share this video. Yeah, I know, Michaela, that's what we're saying. I mean, it's weird because she just went to Mexico. You need a passport to go to Mexico. You need identification. So, I mean, it's all weird. But please, anybody who wants to become a member, you can join the family. It's awesome. And it helps us out. And then again, anybody who thank you guys. I love you guys too. And anybody who wants to donate, links are down in the description below. You know, oh, well, people are making money off of this and blah, blah, blah. You know what? I'm going to say, I'm at home now since I lost my job, and this is what I do. I try to get truth. I try to look for things. I'm trying to help Kiely. And, you know, this is just like a job. For people who think it's not, it is hours and hours of work. So I love you guys. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay safe. Keep asking those hard questions, and I will see you guys later. Anything that you want to talk about later, so I don't forget, please leave a comment below. Leave a comment, and we will talk about it. All right, you guys. I will see you guys later. Have a good day. Oh, squirrels, thank you. Bless you, too. Have a good day, everybody.